Alright, what's going on, everybody? Sorry that it took so long. I had a heck of a time connecting to Facebook down in my little hole down here for some reason. I'm not 100% sure. But on tonight's episode, I want to kind of get started. I'm going to wait for a couple more folks to come on to the Facebook live feed. I got a couple things I really wanted to talk about tonight. If you looked at the header, it said something probably along the lines of Tack 180 stove, skillets, and cases, because I've got a kind of a bunch of stuff down here that I want to show you guys and kind of catch up on. And I want to put an apology out there right now that if you look for number 4 Stove Talks video on on YouTube, I accidentally erased the video. I was using my other GoPro camera and I went to clear it to film some stuff with the boys and I cleared it, and I don't know why. So anyway, let's get started right into this. So I said tonight that we were going to talk about the Tack 180 stove. I think that the Tack 180 stove is a really awesome stove. I think that it needs to have a couple modifications done to it in order to make it really be a superior stove. But it is a multi-fuel stove, no doubt about it. So I'm going to show two of the Tack 1. I'm going to show the Tack 180 stove. I'm going to show the Tack. I guess it wouldn't be the 180. It would be the Flame. So I got them both here in this really cool. This case came with the stove when I got them. Now, I had actually had this stove before, and I gifted both of the stoves away to friends of mine. And once again, on my Facebook or on my live feed, I am not seeing comments. So I don't know what that's all about. Let me see here if I can. No, once again, I am not seeing any comments. So that's strange. Hopefully comments will start coming in there in a little bit. I've heard that the Facebook Live gets kind of wonky at the beginning, so I'm hoping that it catches up, that if I do have comments that I can see them. If not, I'm just going to roll with it anyway. Kind of sucks because I wanted this to be more interactive. So Facebook Live, get your stuff straightened out. Right, hear me? Get straightened out. So anyway, here we go. This is the Tack 180 stove case. I had gifted these stoves out to some friends of mine, and then I wanted to do some stove discussions on these stoves. So I sent the guys over at Tack 180 an email and said, hey, look, I really like to kind of highlight your stoves a little bit, talk about them, and of course use them, put the pictures on Instagram, all that stuff. And they gladly sent me a couple more over. In fact, they still had my address when I ordered the other two. So here is, first of all, it's normally in a Ranger band, but I don't have it wrapped in a Ranger band tonight because I was using them just recently. Just, you know, pretty decent little stoves. Made in America. But before I put the stove together here, this is an optional, this is an extra order. It just really kind of fits together really nice. And it is a catch pan. Pretty cool. And what I like to do if it's wet out is I will, oh hey, what's going on, Chris? You've probably already been joined, but now Facebook Live is catching up and now I see who joined. Score! Anyway, this is the plate, the base plate, fire plate, if you want to call it that, ash pan, whatever you want to call it. What I like to do with this is I will lay this down flat on the ice and snow on the ground, whatever, and I'll start my fire on it. And then, once I get my fire going on my ash pan, I'm thinking about adding a countertop because I don't have any lighting where my bench is. So maybe I should do that. That way I have a surface to set on when I'm showing stoves more instead of balancing them on my knee here. But anyway, so here is, I'm going to show you guys as I'm putting it together. So here is the Tack 180 stove. Really simple design. 2 side plates and a back plate. Okay. 2 side plates have these grooves here on the top. It says 180 stove on the bottom. So all you do You cannot put this piece on wrong. It is identical end to end. So you just do this like that. If you can see the little grooves in here, see how they're offset just a hair. There you go, on my shirt you can see it better. So they're offset. So what you do is you put it together like this, and sit. So then, once you have that in there, you do the same thing to the other side. Sorry it's loud up there. I'm right underneath the bar in our house. And the kids are all sitting at the bar having a snack. So there you go. That is the side plates put on. And these bars here, pot supports, they're stacked like that. Pull them apart. You have 3 of them. I just dropped my stove, so that's always cool. Good thing this wasn't live or anything, huh? Okay, so anyway, let me throw the stove together real quick. Again. The good thing is without the top, the stove is very, very flimsy. Okay, so these pieces right here, they literally just snap in. I'm doing this without a surface under me, so this is a little difficult. Snap into those grooves like that. Now there's 3 of them, so let me throw the other 2 on here real quick. I was talking to my buddy Jason Kupzik about doing a split screen where on live feed I can like do an interview and ask people stuff. Hey Tim, how's it going, man? So here's the stove, and I'm gonna get more information on that because I might be able to actually do like, you know, a questionnaire with somebody else live. Yeah, I'm not sure how I would do it yet necessarily for YouTube, so I'd probably have to record the session. So there we go. Now the ash pan that I showed you, again, we'll hurry up and we'll toss her together like that. And then the stove just sits in there. And it actually sits in there really, really well. Now I'm balancing this in my hands, so that just, and that's the setup for the 180 stove. This is Tack 180 stove here. Okay, so here is where I think that the stove company, Tack 180, can improve. Now this is only my opinion, okay? But I've noticed, and I've said this in other videos before, that when I'm feeding this with fire, or when I'm feeding it with fire, yeah, when I'm feeding it with fire, when I'm feeding it with whatever I'm trying to burn, sticks, twigs, if I'm using some brush, if I'm using some bigger branches that I've cut up, I've cubed up, I've squared up, whatever fuel source I'm feeding this with, I've noticed that it wants to be almost like a fire and I have a dead spot in it. I don't really have anything feeding the fire necessarily. I'm not really getting a lot of I'm not getting a lot of air flow in there, and it's because it's flat. I can't set it up how I would set up a campfire because I have my pot stands. So what I had been doing, I'll use my little sharpener here. It's probably too big, yeah. Let me see here. What I've been doing is I've just been putting something here like a stick or a twig across right here, okay? So that way it keeps it up in the air, and then I put my branches or my twigs or my sticks at an angle in. That allows me to have really nice hot fire in the back and the flame to climb up my debris that I'm burning. Now, I think that if 180 stove was to take this back piece that they have right here and make a half section, exactly what they already have here, but cut this in half, okay, they would be able to use that half section here in the front. It would do a couple things. One, it would make the stove even more rigid. It would still be able to snap in here just fine, since they made it so universal you could put the stove together just about any way. But you would have that extra pull underneath here, so the flame could really pull the oxygen through these ports. in doing that, I think that it would be a far, far more efficient stove. This is definitely a stove for people who want to use a bigger pot, people who want to use a bigger pan. In fact, I'll show you on the, let's see, what's this one? Well, here's a mess kit. This is a U.S. military mess kit. Okay, plenty of room. I have another big pot right here too. I got lots of big pots. Here's the Stanley Adventure pot set. Okay. Plenty of room on there. And it does. I mean, it really does fit on top of there really good. Now, one of the pots and the pans that I'm going to be speaking about, or talking about a little bit tonight, is one of them is right here. This is the new titanium skillet fry pan from Heavy Cover. This is a fairly large pan too, so it does fit really well on top of there, as you can see. And the skillet that I've been using for quite some time now, which would be buried under some other stuff that I'm going to be talking about. The GSI Bugaboo skillet fry pan. This thing, the Teflon is amazing. I mean, you can see I've used the crap out of this thing. Teflon, perfect shape, no flaking, no problem. I love how deep this is as well. So, all right, so now that's the large stove. Okay, that is the Tack 180 stove. I think I don't want to let these things go too far away. I get a little clustered here when I take all my stuff off of their shelves, because then I want to put them down some places they don't belong. So anyway, so here is that stove. Now it's an extremely quick tear down. I'm going to tear it down real quick, and it cools down extremely fast. Cool thing is if you have this just on the ground and you have a ground, just a fire, and you want to pull the stove away from the fire, you can literally just pick it up and move it. Now I took the top supports, I don't want to drop everything, but you can literally pick it up, move your stove, let your fire continue to burn out. Does it save really a lot of time? No, because with the other stoves, the hobo version stoves, most of us, if we're done cooking and there's still some coal or some fire burning in there, we just knock them over. Tip them over, let them burn out on the ground while you pull your stove away and cool it down. I'm sure I'm not the only person that does that if you're done with the stove. Or maybe some of you guys wait, for the hour or 45 minutes for your stove to completely burn out. And that's cool too. If you've got the time in the woods, which I'm jealous for you if you do, because I really wish I had that time sometimes. So anyway, so here is the stove once again, all wrapped up, nice and neat. I don't have the Ranger band on it. And the reason why is because I lost the Ranger band. I pulled the Ranger band off of it and it shot away, and I wasn't going to go look for it. It was muddy. So I'm going to put it back in its case here, but I still have a Ranger band on the Flame. And I'm going to show you that. The Flame is exactly the same concept, but a smaller stove. I really enjoy these big stoves, but I'm going to tell you something. I think that this little stove right here is really where it's at when it comes from Tack 180, because I feel that the stove that is expanded out in this direction, it just has a lot of empty space until you build a really long fire. That's really good for the larger pots and pans, but sometimes when you want a really hot fire, I think that it's really good when they're more stacked, like how they are in, say, like the firebox or the bush box or any of those taller stoves like that. But when you get into a smaller stove, one glorious thing about them is everything's so close, so compact, and they become really. Oh, I took the Ranger band off. You can see, just kind of pull the top of it off there. Has very few pieces in it. Now, what I had said about that cover plate being cut, it could be cut just like this, just like what they're already doing on their flame stove. Isn't that great? I think that it would really, really work. It would really help make that stove more efficient. So once again, same concept. Goes into here and just bends in. And now I think it's because the stove is so much smaller, this stove just feels more solid. Okay, I'm sure that it's just because there's less material and length to it. But let me show you how cool this little guy is. How cool is that? Isn't that neat? Now it doesn't have the really cool logo on the side like their larger stove does, but it'd be neat if they wrote like flame in it, or if they etched flame. That'd look cool. But it's a really neat stove, really neat looking. I'm holding it together. It does not have a pan. When I've used this stove, I usually, honestly, carry both stoves in the same case. So I actually use the bigger ash pan, just put this on there, or I won't. Sometimes if I'm taking pictures of the stuff for Instagram, I think it looks cooler without the ash pan underneath it. It looks, I don't know, a little more rustic maybe, you know, but I don't know, it looks cool. See, that's the thing, I like stoves so much that I care what they look like when they're burning. It's kind of a problem. It's not a problem. But anyway, so same concept with this stove. If they made this cut down more so right here in the front, I truly believe that they would have more pull in the stove as far as heat and flame, and but really all in all, this little stove does burn really decent. And the only stove I've really kind of struggled with getting lit would be the 180 stove. I shouldn't say getting lit. A lot of stoves like that, or like this, when you light them up, you know, it's just a cold fire. You know, your fire hasn't really expanded. You're not really going to do much with that flame except for feed it. So it seems like it takes longer on the 180 stove for me, just because it's so just wide and large and flat. I really think that it needs to have a slope to it. And this bad boy right here, it's smaller, it's more compact. The flame in your and your fuel source isn't so expanded out, so I think that it probably just gets hot faster. You know, the same concept, a small confined area in there. But I am a firm believer of my opinion when it comes to making a front gate on that, or a front plate. I actually thought about just seeing if I can order a back plate and making one. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I did send them an email with an idea, and we'll see. So anyway, let's move on, because the next thing I want to talk about are the skillets I just showed. Okay. So this has been my skillet for quite a while. I used some other skillets before, but I love that Teflon coating. I have never used a pan that had as good of a Teflon coating as this. I have not. Okay, especially out on a campfire. It's a phenomenal little skillet. This is the GSI Bugaboo. I love it. I've loved it since I got it. First time I used it, I was like, I didn't burn anything, didn't scorch anything. But the downfall to this, now while we may love things so much, the downfall to this, it's fairly heavy. Okay. In fact, the other skillet I'm going to talk about, I'm pretty sure that this one skillet, I have two of them. Yeah, it's still heavier than two of the titanium skillets that I have here. So, But I've used this for quite a long time, and then I had heard that Heavy Cover was coming out with a titanium skillet. Now I've used one of them already, kind of trial and error. Got a really nice locking handle on them. You can tell the one I used. It's a greasy handprint on the back of that one. But anyway, so I was really excited to use this because I love my Heavy Cover kit so much. This would be a really great addition. And in the meantime, and meanwhile, I was also kind of working together to put together a fairly lightweight full titanium kit, just to see, you know, kind of something to do and to see how much I really enjoyed it. Now, I'm going to tell you this is not a Teflon coated pan. So the learning curve for me after using my Bugaboo skillet for 2.5, 3 years now is oil. Use some oil, get that oil really hot. I've used it about 5 times now. I did kind of get the hang of using it a little bit more, but the very first time I cooked bacon in it, it wasn't pretty. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm glad that it cleaned right off. I didn't have to use anything other than just soap and water and a really non-abrasive scrub pad, or else I would have scored it all up. But the lightweight, I'm really digging. The jury's still out so far. I'm still doing a lot of tests on it. I'll show it in some videos. So, but I'm, of course, you know, great quality. Really liking how lightweight it is. I actually bought a, oh, what do I have a Snow Peak bowl and a Snow Peak plate now. And then with all my other titanium stuff, I'm trying to somehow make a lightweight titanium mess kit that I can carry with me. Now this, of course, is a little bit large. So, and speaking of mess kits, I'm going to go right into the other cases that I also said I was going to talk about. If you guys follow me on Instagram, or if you're in Stoveaholics, you may have seen some of the posts that I made about the PNW Bushcraft stuff. Yeah, I'll give you guys kind of a little story on how PNW Bushcraft and I came to be. I had seen some really amazing posts of theirs on Instagram, and then I am a really big fan of Wall Hiker. I love his sit-down cooking videos. I love to see his dog Cooper. If you guys watch Wall Hiker, you know what I'm talking about. But he had some stuff on there that was from PNW Bushcraft, and I thought that it was just great quality. So I went over to PNW Bushcraft and I checked out their website, and I thought, how good a quality is this stuff going to be? Their prices are extremely fair. Now, I had just ordered right before that my coffee pouch that I have that I use, and I do like it. But it honestly, it was not made to the same type of quality that this stuff was made up to, and it was far more expensive to go that route. So I'm gonna give you guys a little look-see here. This is one of my most favorite pots because it was a gift from my friend, from Mark from Scouting Free in Germany. He sent me this Heli Context mess kit. Now, I had this made for it. All I did was I sent PNW Bushcraft a message. We talked, gave them my measurements of what I would want, and she came back with a couple ideas. Hey, what kind of closure do you want? What kind of top would you like? Would you like to be more of a cinch, round bottom, you know? And this is what we came up with, a really nice round bottom. I love the sides and a drawstring. And really cool thing on the drawstring is, take a look at that leather leaf. My backup light here has died, so So it may be getting a little dark in here for you. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I might be able to swing this off a little bit here. There we go. Anyway, so, I mean, look at the detail on the leaf. Absolutely awesome. So, that being said, really nice drawstring. And there's plenty of room in here that I can add other stuff. Normally, if you have a pot kit in there, you wouldn't worry so much about adding other stuff, but this pot kit is a nesting pot kit, which means I have another pot inside of this, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But I have plenty of room. I could add a pack of noodles on top of here, some fire starting stuff. I can put some stuff in here, and you'll see that, but that's pretty cool. We're just really heavy duty stuff. And then they put their logo on the inside there. That's kind of cool. So anyway, the kit, or I'll show you guys this because I've showed it many times before. This is just like the Czech mess kit, except for it's not aluminum, it's all stainless. It's got a really nice locking handle here. And then just heavy duty. I sent, and see, you can put stuff in here, but this pot here has another handle as well. So, really good companions. I sent for my buddy and his wife Jeremy and Stephanie Woodward. I had sent them another one. It was Helicon that I ordered it from, but they had a different logo on theirs. So I'm sure there's other versions you can get, but this is a really cool kit. All stainless steel, really just heavy duty. I love it, love it. Now mine says on the top there, got my fingerprints on it, Helicon Text. It says Helicon Text Advent Action Gear. And then it's a great kit. It's heavy. Alright, I'm not going to lie to you, it's not super lightweight, but some of us, when it comes to quality like that, just don't care too much about the weight. So there's one really cool case that I had made. Beyond excited about it. Seriously, I've been beyond excited about that thing ever since it was coming in. Another case that I had made here, another two cases that I had made here. I don't know what I did with the other one. How did I? Well, one of them I've already showed you guys, and that was, let me see here. I think I moved all of it when I went to pick it up. I don't know. I always do that when I'm recording live too. This is for my emberlit stove. Now, as much as I like the emberlit stove, and I've always said this, I have tea and a scrub brush in here, and I have more tea. As much as I love the little emberlit stove, I've never liked the cases that the stuff is coming. It's worthwhile though. This is a great little leather topped one snap case. I think this was this was a mess up. I think that I can't even remember. It just didn't pass their standard per se. I don't see a single problem with it. I think I literally only paid $11, maybe $12 for that case. So that's really awesome. Now it's aggravating me that I can't find my other stove. Okay, well, I guess I'll just have to show you guys the other case at another time, because I'm gonna keep on rolling on to the last thing I wanted to talk about here. I just don't know what I did with it. That's so strange. I was hoping I didn't knock it down, but I did not. Anyway, so I had talked about, speaking of titanium, so we're going to look forward to this in my next video I'm going out tomorrow to check out, is I'm going to compare these two stoves. This is the titanium and the stainless stove. I'm going to do a comparison video on them because I'm not sure if the titanium is going to beat the stainless steel stove. I'm not sure. In saying that, there's only one way to find out, I think, and that's to do it. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to use I have two of these MSR. These are the 725 milliliter seagull pots, stowaway pots, whatever you want to call them. They're stainless steel. I have two of the heavy cover titanium cups that I could use. I have two stainless steel cups that I can use. So I have definitely multiples of different stove options that I can use. And I'm going to do that. I really want to find that other stove. I'm just wondering if it didn't fall. It did. I found it. Slid right beside my shelf there. Okay, so here is the fire ant case. I honestly didn't think it was as rugged and as sturdy as it really has been, because it actually has been pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It's been really good. It's starting just now. Some of the strings are starting to come out. But the canvas and leather, way better. So here's what the larger Emberlit, most people call this the original Emberlit, but the Emberlit and the Emberlit Fire Ant are two different beasts. So I don't like to say the original stove, the larger stove. So here's the case. It's not well made. It is cool that it has instructions on the plastic, but it's not well made. The orange is a nice touch. In case you lose it, you can find it. But okay, this is what I had made instead. Once again, it is canvas in brass. I really like this. I like these snaps. It's a 3-button, and then there's my stove. But I have plenty more room in here to do the same thing. Tea, more tea. This is what I do for my scrub brushes. I'll take one of those green scrub pads, and I'll cut it right down the middle, and I'll cut it across to get 6 of these little pads right out of one. Love them, and I keep them with a lot of my stoves. Why I clean my stoves when I'm done using them? 1, I'm picky. 2, I think that there's some longevity there. When you are able to clean off and clear off a lot of the carbon buildup, I think there's longevity. I think that they function better. I think that if they have hinges on them, they move better. And more importantly, I think, because like I say, I think, this one is one that I know. I don't want the soot spread throughout my bag. I've had a stove case tip over sideways, and soot will shake off of it and spread throughout your bag, and you're grabbing your other stuff. I don't care if my cooking gear or whatever gets soot on it, but I might have a sleeping pad in there, or I might have a $400 tent leaning up against the side of there, and I don't want it covered in soot if I don't have to. Yes, that makes me picky. I understand it's outdoor gear, but I want to keep my gear in the best possible shape that I can. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. So yeah, that's really all I got tonight. I really just wanted to talk a little bit about the Tack 180, show you guys some cool cases, kind of lead up into a little bit of an introduction when it comes to this heavy cover skillet, because it is still in testing with me. I love the GSI Bugaboo skillet, but I've also been using it for, you know, almost 3 years, and I just want to try something different that's a little more lighter. So we'll see. I am pretty excited about it, though. It's, of course, I have 2. No, I'm not going to use 2 skillets. This is where me being a overly spoiling father comes into play. Chris from Heavy Cover was cool enough to send these to me. Probably because I give his canteen so much love, which can't blame the guy at all. But he sent 2. So my boys will get 1 and I'll have 1. Keegan will get that one, and Dorian is slowly but surely growing up into his gear now. He you know, he's got some really cool stuff, man. These kids have got cooler stuff than I had when I started out, but that's kind of, I guess, the luxury of being my kid when I have so much stuff already as it is. But anyway, I'm pretty excited to use this more, and I think it's a lot like the MSR stainless steel skillet. So if you guys are familiar with the MSR stainless steel skillet, I think that this, I don't know how the handle is on the MSR. I don't know if it's a locking handle underneath. I thought it was one that pulled out and went on top. No moving parts, which it's really not a moving part on this. It's just a you press it in, just like the Stanley Cup, or just like, in fact, it's identical to the Stanley Cup hinge. Same concept. So, but I'm excited to use it more. I don't know if any of you guys have used skillets without Teflon in them, or if you prefer skillets without Teflon in them. And if you have, or if you do, or if you have problems with it, let me know, because it's kind of all the information I'm trying to absorb right now. Just being so used to using that. Now, when I use my other stuff that I don't have Teflon coating in them, it's just because I use them in a different manner. I don't fry stuff in my canteen. I don't fry stuff in my Helicon Tex Mess kit. These skillets like this are predominantly, for me, being used for frying, sauteing, which, you know, plenty of oils or butters, stuff like that. So if you have any pointers, let me know. I really would like to kind of soak up all the information on that as I can. And for next week, I had said that I wanted you guys to kind of, you know, talk about and vote what we were, what kind of stoves we were going to talk about. But nobody really kind of bit on that. So what I'm going to talk about next week is some burners. I'm going to talk about the Trangia burner, and I have a titanium clone, per se, of the Evernew burner. So talk a little bit about those. I'm going to try to get something set up here so I can do a maybe a better presentation of them, or we'll move everything over there. So so most of you may or may not know, I'm going to be in the process of buying another house, so you may see my background change a little bit, but it's definitely for the better, because this has a whole nother outbuilding that I get to use for all my outdoor gear. So alright guys and gals, thanks for coming along for Stove Talks. Once again I apologize about my previous video. It's on Stoveaholics. If you're not a member of Stoveaholics and you really want to see that, join the Facebook group. Come check out the videos. Come just soak up some of the knowledge that a lot of these folks who are stove junkies like me have, because it's really just a cool place to be and see these ideas that you would never even dream of. And we have a lot of DIYers who are making their own stoves, and you know, there's always kind of some little theme going throughout the group, which is super cool. So yeah, I think I'm going to talk a little bit about alcohol stoves next week. I I'm going to kind of focus on them and what I would normally use with those for my my companions with those. So, alright everybody, thanks for coming along, and we will see you guys in the next one. Take care. What's going on, everybody? Sorry that it took so long. I had a heck of a time connecting to Facebook. I don't know what the deal is with this. I'm not 100% sure, but on tonight's episode, it's rather aggravating with the doing this, not being able to see the comments, and this is the reason why I've been doing this. So I don't know if any of you guys know a quick fix, or if you know a fix, what's going on with the Facebook Live, why I can't read the comments, or I don't know. Let me know. A little bit aggravating.